Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. So, today we are going to recap chapter 6. I think that was important to recap because a lot was going on, especially, well, we know what happened because I know you all watched the last video. So, I know you know what happened in the story. So, here we are. And I really just kind of want to go back over because Fern had some wonderful descriptions of her early summer as she explained them. She went through a lot of using a lot of adjectives, a lot of I think she wanted you to visually understand what it was for her to have her summer. So we are just going to read over chapter 6 again, and I am going to stop and have some stopping points and some I wonders, and I also am going to ask a couple questions. I want you all to know that last week's competition winner was Casey. She will be receiving her, or has received her winnings. It was a hoodie with a unicorn on it and everything. So congratulations, Casey. I'm super proud of you. So listen up, and I'll give you and let you all know. Actually, I'm just going to let you know it's going to be in this video, and it's going to be one of the questions pertaining to chapter 6. Now, I'm going to do this twice this week, so I'm looking for 2 winners. So make sure in the descriptions and write down where it says comments below. I want you to make sure you have comments, and when you comment, Xavier, make sure you are commenting with a complete sentence. I am not accepting anything of one word or because or it. No, I know you all know how to write complete sentences, so that is what I am only going to focus on. All right, so let's get started without further ado. Chapter 6. The early summer days on the farm. Here I go with this voice. The early summer days on the farm are the happiest and the fairest days of the year. Lilacs bloom and make the air sweet and then fade. Apple blossoms comes with the lilacs. And the bees visit around amongst the apple trees. The days grow warm and soft. School ends and the children have time to play, to fish trout in the brook. Avery often brought home trouts in his pocket, warm and stiff and ready to be fried for supper. Now the school day was over. Fern visited the barn almost every day to sit quietly at her stool. The animals treated her as an equal. The sheep lay calmly at her feet. Around the 1st of July, the workhorses were hitched to the mowing machine, and the Zuckerman climbed into the seat and drove into the field. All morning you can hear the rattle of the machines as it went round and round, while the tall grass fell behind the Cutter barn in long green swatches. Next day, there was no thunder shower. All hands would help rake and pitch and load the hay that will be hauled to the high hay wagon. And Fern and Avery rode riding at the top of the load. Then the hay would be hoisted, sweet and warm, into the loft, until the whole barn seemed wonderful bed of timothy and clover. That's the name, the type of hay it is, timothy hay and clover hay. It was fine to jump in, and it was perfect to hide in. And sometimes Avery would find a little grass snake in the hay and would add it to the other things in his pocket. Early summer days are jubilee time for birds. In the fields, around the house, in the barns, in the woods, in the swamp, everywhere, love the song and nest and eggs. From the edge of the woods to the white-throated sparrow. You guys are just going to read a story, a folk tale actually, about a sparrow today, which comes all the way from Boston. And it calls, "Oh, Peabody, oh, Peabody, oh, Peabody," on the apple ball. A ball is a actual branch of one of those thicker branches in the tree. The Phoebe teeters and the waging in tail says, she's talking about parts of the sparrow, "Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe." The sparrow's song, who knows how brief and lovely life is, says, "Sweet, sweet interlude, sweet, sweet interlude." As if entering the barn, the swallows swoop down from their cold nest. Cheep, cheep, squeak, they say. In early summers, there are plenty of things for a child to eat and drink and suck and chew. Dandelion stems are full of milk. Clover heads are loaded with nectar. The Frigidaire is full of cold ice everywhere. Everywhere you look is life. Even the little ball of spit on the weed stalk. If you poke it apart, it is green and warm inside. And the underside of the leaf of the potato vines are bright and orange eggs of the potato bug. I'm going to show you a potato vine. Side note. It was a day in early summer that the goose eggs hatched. This was an important event in the barn cellar. Fern was there sitting on her stool when it happened. Except for the goose egg herself, Charlotte was the first to know that all her gooselings had at last arrived. The new day in advance they came were coming. She could hear the weak voices calling from inside the egg. She knew that they were desperately cramped position inside of the shell and was most anxious to break through and get out. She sat quiet and still and talked less than usual. When the first gooseling poked his gray and green head through the goose's feathers and looked around, Charlotte spied it and made the announcement. I'm sure, she said, that every one of us will be gratified to learn that after 4 weeks of unremitted effort and patience on the part of our friend the goose, she has now something to show for it. The gooseling has arrived. May I offer my sincere congratulations. Thank you, thank you, thank you, said the goose, nodding and bowing shamelessly. Thank you, said the gander. Congratulations, shouted Wilbur. How many gooselings are there? I can only see one. There are 7, said the goose. Fine, said Charlotte. 7 is a lucky number. Luck had nothing to do with it, said the goose. It was good management and hard work. At this point, Templeton showed his nose from his hiding place under Wilbur's trough. He glanced at Fern, then crept cautiously towards the goose, close to the wall. Everyone watched him. He was not liked or well trusted. Look, he began in his sharp voice. You say you have 7 gooselings? Well, there were 8 eggs. What happened to the other? Why didn't it hatch? It's a dud, I guess, said the goose. What are you going to do with it? Continued Templeton, and his little round beady eyes fixed on the goose. You can have it, replied the goose. Roll it away and add it to your nasty collection of yours. Templeton had a habit of picking unusual objects around the farm and storing him in his home. He had saved everything. Certainly, 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 said the gander. You may have the egg, but I'll tell you one thing, Templeton. If I ever catch you poking around, I'll give you the worst pouncing a rat has ever took. And the gander opened his strong wings and beat the air to show his power. He was strong and brave, but the truth is, both the goose and the gander were worried about Templeton, and with good reason. The rat had no morals or conscience, no scruples, no consideration, no decency, no milk of rodent kindness, no compunctions, no higher feelings, no friendliness, no anything. He would kill a gooseling if he could get away with it. The goose knew it. Everybody knew it. With her broad bill, the goose pushed the unhatched egg out of the nest. The entire company watched in disgust while the rat rolled it away. Even Wilbur could eat almost anything, was appalled. Imagine wanting to a junky old rotten egg, he muttered. A rat is a rat, said Charlotte. She laughed a tingling little laugh. But my friends, if the ancient egg ever breaks in this barn, we'll be untentable. What does that mean? Said Wilbur. It means nobody will be able to be in here on account of the smell. A rotten egg is a regular stink bomb. I won't break it, snarled Templeton. I know what I'm doing. I handle stuff like this all the time. He disappeared in his tunnel, pushing the goose egg in front of him. He pushed and nudged till he succeeded in rolling it in the lair under the trough. That afternoon, when the wind had died down, the goose barn was quiet and warm. The great goose led the 7 gooselings off the nest and into the world. Mr. Zuckerman spied them when he carried Wilbur his supper. Well, hello there, he said, smiling all over. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, isn't that lovely? So we got the barn. That's the end of chapter 6. So we got the barn. We have everything. And the wonderful part is the goose had her gooselings. The bad part is I just learned that Templeton was not liked and everyone did not trust him, which probably could be a problem, especially when you trust everybody else. And here is this one person that may possibly have some things. Well, go ahead and watch the video. Some of the questions that are added to this. Why did Templeton want the dud egg? So that's one question. But the question that I'm going to do for the competition